anyways, the story came out this week where it's like, hey, PJ Haggerty's going to win this conference award. PJ Haggerty, I think Penny called him the best shooting guard in the country. And then the attention turned to, and this is unfortunate because you still got tonight to play. You've still got the conference tournament to play. You've still got the NCAA tournament to play. But it's already a story of whether or not you're going to have guys for next year, not the least of which is your best player in PJ Haggerty. And do you think, I guess the first question is, do you think that that has become a thing because there has got to have been a level of frustration he is currently dealing with by other teams coming in and putting those offers on the table already, though you still have a regular season game, a conference tournament, and an NCAA tournament to play? Because it is odd that we're not to the off season. Like, there's still a lot of basketball to play. And if PJ Haggerty will be a Memphis Tiger and if Memphis is going to be able to come up with the money for PJ Haggerty to be a Memphis Tiger is a subject.
Yeah, I think
and it is a subject because he brought it up.
And but it's like, you're right, we're still in the middle of a season, but this season could be over in 2 weeks.
Could.
Like, it could be just over. And this stuff happens fast. You know, the transfer portal is going to open, and I believe Penny said that he knows there are other programs that are already making the people around PJ Haggerty very aware. And this is the way it happens. The idea that...
But are you surprised that he put it on Front Street like that?
No, and here's why. I think Memphis has more NIL than anybody else in the AAC, but probably not a comparable package to Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisville, Kansas, Texas, Alabama, those type of schools. Penny knows it's going to cost, like, these are just the numbers, $2-3 million to keep PJ Haggerty. It just is.
Right,
and he probably doesn't have that right now and needs to be able to say within weeks, PJ, you don't even have to get in the transfer portal. Here's what we've got. You need to be able to have those conversations within the next couple of weeks.
Because they're having those conversations without you. It's like a contract negotiation right now that is going on, and thus it became put on Front Street.
The way this is happening right now, I guarantee you this is basically the truth, some version of this. It's never going to be Nate Oates picks up the phone, texts PJ Haggerty and says, would really love you to be a Crimson Tide.
Right.
That's not the way it works. More likely, it will be an assistant coach at any school, Texas, Alabama. He's calling an AAU coach, grassroots coach, somebody who's got their hands on agent, whoever, talking to him about a million other things, and then something like this gets said. So how's Haggerty? Like, you got Haggerty, right? Yeah. How happy is he at Memphis? Hey, what's he making there? Oh, yeah, they gave him like, I'm just making up numbers. Yeah, they gave him like $800,000. 800. Is he just like set there, or does the money matter? Would he be interested? What if somebody could throw 2.5 at him? Would he be interested then? Yeah, just let me know. Just circle back with me. That's happening. That's already happened.
Can you walk us through this? Is it all boosters? Is it right? Because it's what's so strange to me is understanding how this works. The original thought. This is obviously the Wild Wild West, and inevitably, whenever there is the Wild Wild West situation, there is going to come a time of regulation. The NCAA loses virtually every lawsuit they're ever in. And so instead of going to court over anything, now it's just the Wild Wild West, and they have no rules on this. And the whole idea, which we all agreed with, was, hey, man, it's goofy that a PJ Haggerty's, if they're selling jerseys of PJ Haggerty and they're selling all these tickets, they're getting all this money and they're bringing in all this money. And if he wants to sign his jersey, or if he wants to say, hey, I'm PJ Haggerty and after the games I go to Wingstop or whatever, like, that's name, image, and likeness, right? And it's like, nothing I ever hear is about name, image, and likeness, right? When you're talking about, hey, man, we need to give PJ Haggerty $2 million, it's not because PJ Haggerty is generating some extraordinary amount of money, or because the school is making money hand over fist because PJ Haggerty's on the team. And yet, and I love PJ Haggerty, right? But I mean, like, I've never seen a commercial, I've never seen, so like, where did we go from, hey, these guys should be able to benefit, and these guys should be able to use their name, image, and likeness to profit, which I agree with wholeheartedly, to basically it's contract negotiations like we're in the NBA.
Right. Okay. So it all starts with we should not be preventing student athletes from earning money off of their name, image, and likeness, particularly when the NCAA is making money off of their name, image, and likeness.
Correct.
Most people agreed with that.
Yep.
The problem became once you decide we will now let companies, boosters, corporations sign them to contracts. You could never.
Yeah, like what do you do for that money?
Okay, so I
play basketball, right? Like the answer, we all thought that it was going to be like, the guy that's the star.
Like having jerseys with their name on it.
Or when it first started, do you remember the guy, by the way, whatever happened to him? Do you remember DeColdest Crawford at Nebraska? And he was doing like a refrigerator brand, and he was like, I like so-and-so fridges because they're DeColdest.
Right.
And it was like, oh, this is going to be the new age.
Louisiana Tech.
La Tech. I'll be damned, DeColdest.
See how it happens?
Yeah.
So I remember,
he was.
I'll just tell this story, and I think the answer to your question will be somewhere in this story. The very first time the NCAA publicly acknowledged they were going to pursue a path to allowing student athletes to benefit from name, image, and likeness, they held a conference call. And they opened it up for questions like, hit pound 9 if you want to ask a question, pound 9. Let's go to Gary Parrish, CBS Sports. Gary, what's your question? I said, because here's what they said. We are going to allow student athletes to benefit off their name, image, and likeness, but it will not be allowed to be a recruiting tool. And I hit pound 9 and I said, I hear what you say. How are you going to do that? They said, well, what do you mean? You're going to allow players to benefit off their name, image, and likeness. Correct. But you will not allow name, image, and likeness to be a recruiting tool. Correct. How? I'm just asking, how are you going to do that? How are you going to police that?
And they said, Gary, your connection's getting bad. I can't really hear you.
They have no answer. They have no answer
really?
to it. Yeah,
they had no answer.
Well, you know, that's part of the process. That's what we're looking into. And here, I wrote the column. You could probably go find the column. I wrote the column that day, and here's what it says. You know why they don't have an answer? Because there's not one. They can meet for the next 6 months. There will never be one. Because once you allow...
They did the Trump thing. It's concepts of a plan.
There you go, right.
I have concepts of a plan, bro.
Yeah. So I just took it to the furthest extreme. Think about it as long as you want. How are you going to be able to police this? Because you can't put any limits on anything. That's how you get sued. So it very quickly became exactly what it is, which is pay for play. The truth is, PJ Haggerty, to any business in Memphis, is not worth $2 million. You're more famous than PJ Haggerty. But I mean, that's just the truth. With your social media following,
right,
you are worth more to Bank of Bartlett than PJ Haggerty is.
Right.
In all the ways that somebody would be worth a corporation as a spokesperson. You're more valuable than PJ Haggerty. The only place that PJ Haggerty means $2 million to is that basketball program. And there is no way to stop it from, there's no system in place to prevent universities just throwing millions of dollars or their supporters throwing millions of dollars. So that's what's happening right now.
Is it always the supporters? You know what I mean? Like the school is not actually
that's coming.
giving.
That's coming.
Okay.
Not yet, but that's coming.
This is always just Penny has to find 5 rich guys.
Yeah.
There is no, like, theoretically, there is no pot of money that Auburn has for this that Memphis doesn't, that is school-related, other than school-related being rich people that care deeply about the program.
Now, that's going to change.
Okay.
But for now, it is really just whatever amount of money you can generate.
Well, and you covered that. Look, bro, the same rich people are still around, Gary.
Yes. This is what I said.
We know them.
Here's what I said
earlier
in the week.
He know there will be people that still care desperately about Memphis basketball and do not want to answer his question. Do you guys want to be big time or not? This was the question that Calipari always got when it was illegal.
Right.
Do you want to be big time or not?
Right. And so,
because if you want to be big time, here's what big time schools do.
So this is what I believe. There is nothing in the Memphis NIL budget that supports paying a player what they're going to have to pay PJ Haggerty to get him back on campus, because other schools are going to have it in their budget to offer him $2 million. Worse players than PJ Haggerty got offered $2 million last offseason. it is completely logical to assume that's the starting number for him. Or at the very least, somebody's going to be willing to go above that. Yeah. I'm confident that it is not in Memphis's NIL budget right now to spend that kind of money on one player. I am also confident, exactly what you said. Penny Hardaway will sit down with somebody and say, "This is. Do you want me to succeed?
This is the price of doing business,
This is
bro.
what it costs to have a championship level team. Do you want it or not?" And somebody will step up and do it. Rick Pitino has said this.
Well, in fairness, it's good. It's good for coaches in that sense because it's bad if they don't succeed, but if you don't come up with the funds and then now they want your head and they're mad at you and you didn't come up with the money, then any coach is going to be able to say, bro,
right?
Do y'all want to be awesome or not? I told you what it costs to be awesome. Yeah. Well, I can't compete with somebody that's eighth man is making $500,000.
Well, like at Ole Miss, I can just tell you, the 13th scholarship player is making six figures. Everybody on that team is making hundreds of thousands of dollars at least. Everybody. So that's
because they care about them being good.
So that, like you can. I talked to Chris Beard about it. Chris Beard's like, if you come here to Ole Miss, red shirt, and then spend the next 4 years here, spend 5 years here, you could be a millionaire when you leave here.
Jesus.
With no debt whatsoever.
Sheesh.
You could own a house, be a millionaire, whatever you want to be. By sitting on my bench for 5 years.
I would love to do that.
You could do that.
I'd
All right,
be
that's where
proud.
we're at.
I was wondering this last night. I don't know if you saw, but you have a great awareness from covering college basketball of how awesome Baylor Shireman was, right? Mm-hmm. Baylor Shireman, evidently, he got in for the Celtics. Yeah. Bang, 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 making threes. And of course, it leads everybody that follows the NBA that knows nothing about college basketball to be like, who is Baylor Shireman? You know, even this morning, Jacoby was on our podcast. He's like, "Do Celtics just like create these guys? Like, who is these Hausers and these whatever?" But I thought, I remember during the draft, Bill Simmons was like, "Baylor Shireman, that's a guy because he's going to be very late in the first round. There's a guy that like can just knock down threes, right? As he has when he's gotten in for the Celtics already this year." I wondered if Baylor Shireman made more this year playing for the Celtics or more last year. Honestly.
Oh, there were.
I wonder. He was like the last pick of the first round because they won the title. Do you think you make more money being the last pick of the first round? Because, bro, you just mentioned PJ Haggerty's going to get paid more than whoever gets drafted 32nd.
Well, like let's look at the rookie scale for next year.
I think it's $1 million, bro. I'm not kidding.
I got you.
I think you get $1 million if you're drafted at the end of the first round.
Okay, so the 30th pick, it's 2.2.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
better than I thought.
Basically, you're guaranteed. If you're a first-round pick, you probably still need to go. It's guaranteed money, locked in multiple years, in excess of $5 million or right around $5 million. You're a first-round pick, you need to go. The ones that I think have real decisions are you're going to be the 47th pick. Like, there's no way you're slipping out of the top 50. You've got a promise at 47, all right? But Kansas State is also offering you $2.8 million to play 1 year of college basketball. What do you do then? Then I think, there's a lot of people who can make more money playing college basketball than they can make even in the NBA next season.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, Baylor Shireman's got a 4-year, $12 million, so it's 2.4 this year.
But just
2.4.
Okay, so you want to get all that guaranteed money locked up.
That's right.
But to answer this question, if Baylor Shireman would have just said, "I'm coming back to college for 1 year. Who wants me?" Somebody would have paid more than 2.4 for him.
Literally right in time on the Gigi front. Like, you beat it by a year.
Yeah.
There's no way Gigi Jackson does what he did. No way. He went in the second round, bro.
Yeah. No,
if he would have made more money staying in college, for sure.
He would have made more money in staying in college.
And he might have been the first pick in the draft last year.
I have made that point for a while. If Gigi Jackson played at North Carolina last season the way he played for the Grizzlies last season, he might have been the first pick in the draft.
I mean, in a draft where it was Zachary Richardson and Alex Sarr and Reed Shepard, and those are the top 3 picks.
Yeah.
Gigi Jackson could have gone. I mean, at worst, he's
if
going
Gigi
in the top 10.
Jackson was the ACC Player of the Year at North Carolina,
oh my God,
which he would have been playing the way he played. For the Grizzlies in the ACC. If you put him in the ACC last season, he's killing.
He had 30-something against the Bucks.
Right. Yeah. He's killing. I really think he might have been the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
to circle back,
it was 1 year early. You know what I mean?
To circle back to the name, image, and likeness stuff, So with PJ, I just think at some point Penny's going to be able to tell somebody this is what it costs to keep him. Do you guys want to do it or not? And somebody will step up and do it. I don't want to put a name on it, but somebody will. And Rick Pitino's talked about this. And it's different at different places. At some places like Ohio State, you might have 50 rich people throwing money into a pot. At like St. John's, it's kind of one guy.
Yeah.
It's a billionaire. And so I think Rick was talking to the Barstool Sports guys, and they said, do you have like a budget for NIL? Because Rick just talks about it plainly. He's like, yeah, we lose Kari Richmond, we lose this guy. He's like, not even looking at high school players. Rick just basically said, we're going to go out and buy the best players we can buy to replace these players that we just bought. And so they asked him, do you have like a budget? He's like, well, I kind of have an idea of what we want to spend. And then he said, but if I need more, there is somebody I can go back to and I can say, if we're going to get this done, it's going to cost another $400,000. And I can get that. I have access to
I want to
that.
ask you about like another part of the NIL because I saw it was a story about it the other day about the James Harden getting involved in
At Arizona State, yeah.
Arizona State. He's putting his own money into their NIL
That's
fund.
happening all over the.
So
yeah,
is
yeah.
there more athletes, more professional players doing that now where they're taking their own bread, going to their alumni of like, I'm going to their whatever alma mater and be like, yo, I'm gonna give you a meal
Because
I'm gonna
I
put it
want
into
my
y'all
school to be good.
To be good.
That's right. I mean, I don't want to speak for James Harden specifically, but right now the money, like $1 million, still goes a long way.
Exactly.
You could buy a starter with $1 million.
sure. Yeah.
Well, $1 million to James Harden is nothing.
And you also feel a part of it then.
That's right.
You
And
feel attached to that success in a way that when I would donate to the Tiger Fund,
it doesn't feel like you matter.
No.
But okay, so I'll just tell.
I'm serious.
But like I'm just telling stories now. You go down. I've been down to Ole Miss practices a few times this year, and you walk in and there's like 4 dudes sort of sitting over here on the front row.
Yeah.
And you go, who's that? You know what they say?
Boosters.
Those are my money guys. And so now this is just part of it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Chris Beard when he was at Texas Tech had boosters in every practice, but now it's just like these guys, they paid for this team.
Yeah.
They want to feel like they belong to it. All the players go over and fist bump them in the walk-in.
Yeah.
They feel like they're a part of it.
Well, and you were talking about Pitino being on Barstool and talking about the, St. John's, and there's a guy you could go to. It reminded me of Dave Portnoy getting involved in that Bryce Underwood thing and saying he had that meeting with the booster, and it's one of these billionaires, but it's not even the billionaire. It's the billionaire's wife that is a Michigan alum and was there, I think, like during like the Brady Hoke era, and she was like, we are never
again.
We're never being back, right?
Again, yeah.
But so she's got this. Who is the husband? Who is like that huge? Because they got that Underwood kid like crazy money, and that's a true freshman coming in to play quarterback there. But I remember Portnoy saying he was like on the call with them, and it's some billionaire's wife that is now like
The Ellisons.
Oh, Larry Ellison.
It's Larry Ellison's wife, Jolene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like for these
She's a Michigan alum.
Yeah.
For these super wealthy people, it's still a small price to pay to feel like you're making a difference at your alma mater.